Alright, what is poppin', people? We're back, and I finally have more Cap content. Because right now, we got the Cap seasonal going on, which is the same as, any seasonal tournament for a tier. Which is the first tournament, I believe, of the Cap circuit. I don't know what the winner of the Cap circuit gets, because I don't think this is a ribbon tournament. I'm pretty sure I think it's in that other circuits thing, so maybe it's like a banner? I don't know. But I decided to sign up for it because, well, I've been having fun playing it, and it potentially generates more videos. Anyhow, round one, got matchup versus Snafutari. He was actually on my Cap Snake team, if I'm remembering correctly. And going into this, there were a few thoughts, right? The main thought was my opponent loves to bring fat teams, like stall, semi-stall, bliss. Like, he's a Blissey user. But at the same time, I knew my opponent doesn't like to bring that stuff because he feels he's too easy to C-team. So I wasn't really too sure what to expect. One of the things I do for certain is he's got a bit of a bad habit of tilting, like, off the face of the earth. And so I thought, hey, I could scum the ever-living hell out of him game one, bring hyper offense, and maybe just, win it too. And let's see if it works. I believe I brought this in my week 5 series against Binacle is the best or whatever. Binpen, I think he's more known by in the community. It's Geomancy Necturna, Rocks SD Lando, Screens Regieleki, Belly Drum Commodore. This has, just for the uninformed with Cap Pokemon what they do, Commodore is essentially Hawlucha on steroids. It's got priority. Just imagine putting together a Azumarill and a Hawlucha, and you get something like that. We got Throat Spray, Clanger, Soul, Komodo, and then we got the Weakness Policy, Stored Power Draining, because Magearna. Let's get into this. Obviously, I'm leading my Lando. He leads his Tomahawk. Now, immediately I notice there's no Intimidate, so I know he's Prankster. And that means that I'm thinking I have been C-teamed already, because I'm assuming he's Haze. Anyhow, I'm gonna knock turn 1. Because if he's Helmet, I don't want Helmet to be something I have to worry about with, like, Commodore or something. And we're gonna get Rocks up. Now, he goes for Heat Wave. Usually these run Aura Sphere. But when I saw Heat Wave, I'm like, wow, he's really C-teaming. Because I'm like, damn, I can't even try to beat this with, Magearna. Or even Commodore to some, like, horribly not great extent. But I'm gonna switch here to Aleki. Because I'm like, okay, I can get screens. And then he does this. Healing Wish. Now, when I saw this, I thought he misclicked. For all intents and purposes, I thought that he had misclicked there. And so I'm like, why are you sacking the Tomahawk this early? Now it doesn't explain anything, but it does reveal to me that he was not Haze Hawk, and so at the end of the day, this wasn't beating down anything on my team. But we're gonna see later on, this is actually gonna come into play, that Healing Wish. For those of y'all that don't know how Healing Wish works, there were some generational edits, and I'll pause while I explain this, with how Healing Wish works now. If the Pokemon you send out has not taken previous damage, Healing Wish is stored now, as opposed to just being wasted and being like, oh, Healing Wish went off on a full health Pokemon. So, we're gonna see eventually that he's gonna get a Pokemon on his team weakened. He's gonna bring them back, and he's gonna throw it out later. They're gonna get that Healing Wish. And yeah, he goes Lando, he KOs my Lando. Now, I make probably a kind of dumb play here where I decide, hey, I'm gonna sack Aleki to get a Reflect. I don't think I should have made this play. I think Commodore was super free. He's not getting me a Stone Edge. Here I make another awful play. I decided to go Magearna to Shift Gear, thinking he'd just Earthquake, and it'd give me Weakness Policy. I would have won if that happened, I think. Maybe not. Regardless, in 80 KOs me through screen. So, I'm kind of down bad here. I go Commodore here because I know he can't beat me through the screen. I get my Citrus Berry. He actually reveals to be double Rock move, which definitely was surprising. And I just go for the KO with Acrobatics. I'm hoping that somehow Commodore can win this game. I go for BP. I really am praying here. It doesn't KO, unfortunately. And he does land a Hydro. So here I'm thinking, okay. Like, at this point, I genuinely thought maybe there's a shot that I win. Because I'm like, okay, this is a Scarfini. It's probably like Trick CM, because that's pretty much how they all are. So I'm a Geomancy up my Necturna. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, this is a game. What does he have? Because I don't believe Astrolotl can KO me from full. Kartana, if it was Scarf, that'd be double Scarf, so I just didn't expect it. We see that he's Astrolotl without boots, though, which means that he's dual screens. Now, this is a problem. Because one, this thing is now all the way at full. But two, it means that Kartana, I do not Oko. And we're going to see that he's actually Scarf Haze. Now, that was very confusing to me, because it felt very forced on the team. Now, obviously, it worked out great, because now I can't win. I mean, I go for a Panic Geomancy pretty much, just hoping somehow he'll, like, choke this game terribly. But yeah, at this point, I mean, I can crit the card through the screen. I would have preferred that to actually live, I think, and into God into Komodo and Clanger's sold. At the very least, I then would have forced a speed tie with his Tapu Fini. And maybe I KO it through the screen with +2 Flash Cannon. Unfortunately, it's not the world that we live in. And he got the win. Somebody had in game 2, right? I bring double Spooky's offense, and I see, oh my lord, the same team? Free. Like, that's what my immediate... Why did I have K here? Huh? Oh, you know what it must have been? I think I was PMing someone, and then for some reason, it got cut off because the battle window opened. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But my immediate thoughts going into this game are, oh, this is the freest win of my life. Because I know all the bullshittery on this team. I know this is Screens Lotl. I know this is Scarf Haze. I know this is Stone Edge Smackdown SD. I know this is Healing Wish. I know this is Prankster even with Healing Wish. I felt super confident coming to this game, just knowing every set. So let's see how that goes for me, right? I lead Dragapult because his team has no Ghost Resist. If I were Spectre, I would have led that, because look at his team. Would you like to find the Ghost Resist? Because I can't find it. I would have led that, but Dragapult's a good lead as well, because, you know, double Ghost offense versus no Ghost Resist, PogChamp. And I'm gonna just drop a Draco here. He goes Fini. I know he's Scarf obviously here, so I'm gonna switch out. And I'm gonna switch right into my Toxapex. And we see Scald, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. And we see Taunt, and I'm like, oh dear. That means he's CM. And you know, that's not really very advantageous. Now he goes Magearna. I'm just expecting the Volt here from his Choice Specs Magearna, so I go my Libra. Alright, here it's a very free Doom Desire because he's forced out. So we're gonna set that off here. Now, we're gonna go into the Rillaboom, and we're a Grassy Seed Rillaboom. In an ideal world, I save this for the last. But you're looking at my team, right? I don't really have a good answer to this Lando. I could have stayed in, I guess, with Libra. But on this one, I'm not Flash Cannon. I'm Aura Sphere, Earth Power, Doom Desire, Rapid Spin. So the best I could have done is, like, what? Gone for an Aura Sphere as this comes out. Get, like, a super minuscule amount of chip. And then, I mean, the next turn he has to switch to Doom Desire. I guess I could have Earth Powered there, but I don't beat Tomahawk when it comes in, I don't think. Or maybe I do. I think maybe staying with Libra would have been okay. Regardless, preserving lefties is cool too. So I feel like I'm panicked, forced to go Rillaboom here. But because of the defense boost, I get a lot more leverage here, right? Lottl's forced to take a lot of damage with a Doom Desire. And, I mean, from here, this can't KO me. And so this is a very free acrobatics here. I mean, we're going to see this Tomahawk getting chunked. Now, if that had been KO'd, that would have been great. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. But in case he was Haze, because we do see again he's Prankster, we do get the KO with Grassy Glide. And I mean, from here, what does he do? He has to keep sacking. We already know the U-turn won't KO, so I'm going to get a huge Grassy Glide off. And he's going to go Lotl, which is just a free T-Tart switch in. And now, you may notice something about my team is unfortunate. CM Fini. It's not a good matchup from here. We're gonna go Tar, just set rocks here though as he Fire Lashes. Like, at this point, the only way that I deal with Fini is if I always have this Rillaboom around. Because I need something that can come in as it CMs to just threaten the Oko with Grassy Glide. Or maybe not even the Oko, but threaten a huge hit off. But now here, since I'm assuming the Lando is, at this point, Stealth Rock, because we see non-choiced, knockoff plus U-turn. So I'm thinking the Tomahawk is probably going to be his removal. It could be Scarf. It could have been Scarf Defog on this, but just seeing the damage, I was pretty sure that was CB. But anyhow, right here, he's going to make... I know he's going to trick here. I didn't feel like I had a great play to make in response to that, though, so I just stayed to try to get some chip. Alright here, unfortunately, I'm also going to get predicted. He's going to Focus Blast. And then I'm going to get predicted again, and he's going to Focus Blast and KO my Libra. And man's hacks me hitting 2 F blasts in a row, but I felt that it was like as fine as it could be, right? Because at this point in my head, his removal's gone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Scald, but what you're going to see later is I'm going to set up a T-Spike, despite it only really affecting this on his team. Now, I know he's going to try to go for game again, so I'm going to play Super Aggro my Rillaboom. In my eyes, I can never let this thing set up and not be punished with a Rillaboom in his face. He's just as simple to me. But we're going to go Tar again versus the Lottle. And he's going to Fire Lash again. Now, since last time we went Cart, I'm going to predict the Cart again to come out. So I'm going to go for a Thunder Wave here. I don't think it ever came into play throughout the game other than letting my, like, Tar benefit from a full para. But this makes it a lot smaller of a threat. And we also get the Pex in. And this is why that was really helpful too, right? So, we know he's CB, and he has Grassy Terrain support. Pex is going to get blasted by Leaf Blade. So, that full pair is really helpful, because it forces him to switch. And as I set T-Spike here, we now have a win con, even if the Feeny sets up. I have the double Spookies. They are both Hex. I still have Rillaboom to try to dissuade this from setting up. So now I'm not as worried about this. We know we know this is Stealth Rock. This is his Fogger. Like, that's just in my head what's going on. He goes for a Draining Kiss. Because this mod does not run special attack investment, we take very, very little. And I know he's going to switch here, so go for a Knock. Get a crit. Really helpful. And I know he's not going to attack me, so I'm going to go for a Knock. And I get another crit. That was really helpful, I will say that. But then he goes Lando here. And I'm just like, okay, so you're giving me a KO. That play kind of confused me a little bit. And then he goes Magearna here, and I just kind of throw T-Tar out, because between you and me, I don't see what Tar does. He gets a Floor Cannon, but it felt like the most expendable mon. And if anything, I didn't want Tar around, because it gave Tapu Fini a chance to set up. But he's going to go Cart. I know he's coming out of that, so I'm a super powered as it comes in. And he's going to get full parried here. And we're going to claim a Cart. Now, unfortunately for me, gives him a chance to set up with Feeny. I didn't really like that. Now, at the end of the day, it's being poisoned upon switching, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm still, like, paranoid about this Feeny. Fortunately, I still felt that I was, like, pretty well off anyhow, between Spectrier and, like, Dragapult being able to chunk that with Hex. I felt that probably we were safe, even if he boosts +1. And you can see he thinks that it's game at this point, which... I mean, honestly, until the Feeny was gone, I was not willing to call it game. I'm gonna see again here. I'm gonna try to just let him KO my T-Tar, because what I was trying to do was get one of my Ghost types in to just win with Hex. The Magearna's at this point too low. It's not gonna be doing anything. And I know that this isn't gonna be taking the hits very well. I do want a 50-50 here between Dekus and CM. And I also get a 5-hit Rock Blast. That was pretty helpful, just to make sure that there's constant pressure being put on the Feeny and it could never set up and try to win. And yeah, he forfeits here. Like, I'm playing extremely paranoid the entirety of this game against the Feeny. And you can see in game 3, my opponent brings the same fucking team. I mean, honestly, by game 3, I kind of felt like I was being disrespected in a way. I'm just like, this man thinks he can just bring the same team with adaptations each time? Hello? Anyhow. We now brought Sand, because Sand is just a comfort pick for me at this point. We got standard T-Tar Drill Core, we got, you know, Defog Moltres. We actually have offensive Sharp Beak Tomahawk with Taunt. It gets some really nice damage rolls against Pokemon like Slowking and Astrolotl. You'll see some of them this game. It's not with Hurricane, it's with Aura Sphere. But you'll see that offensive Tomahawk is actually pretty helpful in this game. just standard Future Sight plus Teleport Slowking, and then good old Cinderace. And Cinderace is the MVP of this game. And we're going to see why it gets to be from a very early point in the game. So he leads Lando. Because my opponent had changed his team every game, I had zero faith that this was not Scarf Rocks Lando or just Scarf Lando in general. So I'm immediately switching out. And I'm going to go Moltres because I figure he's not Stone Edge. It was obviously a very risky gamble, but eh. And I'm just going to try to prevent him from getting rocks. And he is going to boom. Now, I think the boom was an awful play from him. And it's entirely because what the hell's your ace check? If I ever set a Future Sight up, what is checking my ace? Nothing. He's going to go Tomahawk here. And something very funny happens. He's faster and misses Hurricane. Now, what this told me right off rip is he is Specs Tomahawk. Or at the very least, he's offensive. Now, this miss is helpful just because I get to keep rocks off the field, but also knowing what his Tomahawk does is super helpful for me. We see that this was, again, Prankster Hawk, so it doesn't check ace at all. So him sacking Lando opened up the game a whole bunch for me. And he's going to go Buffini here. I go out to King. Now, here's where, again, we see top Buffini with CM is actually a huge threat. I brought so many teams weak to it. But fortunately, I've got my trusty Cinderace here with Gunk Shot. I know he's going Magearna. I don't care. I'm not letting you stay in and set up versus me. And we see again that he's itemless. Now, even if you Scarf, I don't really care. I'm just going to stay in Pyro Ball here because it's very low drawback for me as he goes Astrolotl. Now, if I really wanted to, I could have Gunk Shot here. It was very free. But I didn't feel like losing my item yet, you know? I wanted to keep the heavy-duty boots around just in case he got some, like, spikes with the Lotl. So we're going to go, again, play the Tar line versus the Lotl. Just set my Stealth Rock here. Unfortunately, every time I go Tar, I do invite in the Feeny, and I don't have 2 spikes this time. I'm going to make a huge aggro play here, though. I know he's CMing. And we're going to see, again, my opponent kind of throws the game here. Now, I will acknowledge, he has no switch into Ace in this position. I mean, the card, unless it's Scarf, doesn't really do anything to Ace after it switches in because it's just threatened up by Pyro. Astrolotl can't come in on Gunk because it's going to be 2-hit KO'd. This, obviously, is offensive, so it doesn't want to come in. And the Magearna, we actually learned later that it wasn't Specs, but we know we're going to be faster than the Magearna, so I just Gunk it, or I'd not Gunk it, I'd Pyro Ball next turn. But I feel like you still have to preserve this and just try to play around Cinderace. Anyhow, now him going Cart here makes me think he's Scarf, so I'm just going to play it safe, go into my offensive Tomahawk. And yeah, that damage tells me probably Scarf, because look, I'm offensive. I'm not fully offensive. It's mostly just that I have some speed, I have some special attack, and then I'm, you know, HP invested. We're going to also see why this is a cool Pokemon. So, Aura Sphere 2 KOs Lotl from that range. That's really helpful. And I'm just going to Hurricane here because I kind of expected his Tomahawk to come out. Anyhow, unfortunately, we see that this is dual screens Magearna. Kind of, you know, bothered me a little bit, but it's alright. It's alright. I'm going to sack the Moltres here. Kind of hope that we get a Flame Body proc. We don't, though. But we're very safe to sack, and we can just get Tomahawk back out. And again, this thing is 2-hit KO'd by Aura Sphere, so you are not a switch in. And unfortunately, though, he is Healing Wish, which means the Magearna's right back to full. And this means that at least we get a Future Sight turn, right? Because we know he's dual screens. I didn't know what his last 2 moves were. We see that he's, like, offensive still. Like, that does 12 million. I dodged a second Floor Cannon. I don't think that mattered. Regardless, I was just trying to get Ace out here, because at this point, Cinderace kind of trivially won. It was pretty much just his luck. The game at this point was just, do not let Cart beat you down. I go Tomahawk, he gets crit. It's not really a big deal at all, because at this point, he can't play around my Pokemon. Cart never gets to lock into a move that it sweeps with. And here, we're just gonna hope we live a hit. We actually get chunked to hell by Hurricane. But we live it. The Future Sight's gonna hit this turn, so I just sack Tar. I mean, at this point, I don't need it. And yeah, I mean, the Cart can't lock into anything. He has to lock into Leaf Blade and Prey, and even then I have Excadrill. that outspeeds and kills with Earthquake. And so I will be moving on to round 2 of the Cap Seasonal, and any series that I do have that I think are at least kind of interesting, we'll upload because I've seen some of y'all do like the Cap content. So, hey, may as well keep doing it. That's it for this game. And I had seen Saper, Saper, I think is how he said his name's pronounced. I saw him commenting. He's like, "When we're gonna see y'all playing? When are we gonna see you play again?" Well, here you go. Played this about half an hour ago, half an hour to 45 minutes. I know that was a fun series. I felt a little disrespected by the same team being brought each game. But at the end of the day, we still pulled out. Especially this game, I was a little worried that I was going to be able to tilting after this game. Man, I didn't even say GG after any of the games. I was angry. But I said GG's here. So that's what really matters. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know who's going to be on the thumbnail. Who would we say? I mean, we got T-Tar. Yeah, I guess we'll just probably put Tyranitar on the thumbnail. Rabia can only win with sand teams, question mark? That sounds like a great title. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.